Hey, this is Matt Janino again. I just want to make one video on how to make your own indicator. If you are experienced with trading, I want to make some videos for those people out there, and your own indicator can be really helpful and you may be able to profit off it. You could sell it to hedge funds, you can sell it to people on the internet. So if you can find a way to calculate some of these swings or take into account price and volume better than some of the indicators, then I would go for this. So I'm going to show you how to change the MACD indicator. So I don't want to start from scratch. I'm going to change something I know. So what I'm going to do now is make the indicator the full screen. And what you do is you right click, head to your drawings or studies, and you're going to edit the studies. And what I'm going to do is type in the MACD, and when I get to the indicator I want or the study you want to change or check out, you just check out. Create would be making a new one, so this would be starting from scratch, and this is what the screen looks like. So this is programming pretty much. You have a certain language you have to follow for the computer to understand it, and it could be pretty simple for you to pick up, but the best way I like to learn a program is to look at other programs so I don't have to figure out what data it goes where. So let's check out the import section on the MACD. Not that one. Sorry, I'm fumbling around a little bit. You're going to right click and you're going to go to view, and it's going to pull up the code. So all of this gives you an output of these two lines and these green and red bars as well. So you got a lot of things going into this code, and what I like to do is just mess around with it, see what affects what. So obviously the inputs here can be changed, and that would just affect the line speeds. So fast length, slow length, MACD length, and the MACD is these green and red bars. So we can change that. We can change the fast and slow length and see what happens. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy the code and I'm going to create my own. So there we go. Paste it there, and we have our own code. So you can't change the MACD code. You have to copy it to change it. So we can call it whatever we want. I'm going to make this 20. I'm going to make this 50. I'm going to make this 30. And let's see how it affects it. So I called it new study, and I'm going to throw that on there, and I'm going to take the MACD off now. So I'm going to put it on there once, and we get to see it. So let's check it out. So this is the study we just made. As you can see, we really changed it to the point where it doesn't make any sense. But this is the fun part about programming. You get to see what affects what. And if you get good, you can make your own lines and make your own indicators. So I'm going to go to my study again, and we're going to just check it out. See what else we can change. So you're going to come over and you got to click view or edit. So edit. I'm going to change these back to normal so they can make some sense. 30 and 20, something like that. And we still don't get a good change. I may have copied something from earlier. Yeah, so I copied that. But let's move this up and let's make these 300, 200. Alright, so the MACD is huge now, and our lines are much further apart. So this may help you if you want to make your own indicator. This may be useful, but for me it doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to go back to normal, and you can change the type of average, exponential, it could be a simple average, and these are the inputs. With any programming, the inputs are used later in the program. So if I hover over average type, you can see average type is highlighted, and you can see where it goes to. So it goes to this point here. It helps me understand where it's used, and if I misspelled it, then I can see it not show up on the highlighted spots. So breakout signals, let's put a yes. So those are cool. You can see arrows when you need to get into a trade and out of a trade. So I'll show you what those are. Breakout signals are really cool. So they're going to be green and red, kind of telling you sell and buy, sell and buy. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they make no sense. So pretty cool. Let's go back. Let's check out our program one more time, go through it a little bit more, and see if we can learn from it. So if you find a indicator or study you like, you can copy that program and mess around with it. So we can change colors here. Let's change it to yellow. And we got some yellow in there. So this is the strong signal is the first part of the MACD, and when it gets weak, you got the second part. If it's getting weak, I want to see a blue. There we got yellow for strong, blue for weak, and then we have light red is strong in the sell, and dark red is strong or weak in the sell. This is a pretty basic code. It's just setting colors, and the harder code is the plotting of the lines and of the MACD. So this is still color. So this looks like it's all colored down here. So that shouldn't be too hard. Right here is the plots. So all of this is how the MACD is plotted. And this is where it can be fun, and this is where you can manipulate it to do what you want. So I don't really want to get into all of this, but the plot difference and all that, you can mess around, see what happens if you take out that subtraction sign. And so you get the buy signal on the MACD to match that first line. That's pretty cool. So we'll do Control Z, bring it back to normal. But you can change the 0 line to be a little bit higher. So you can plot lines wherever you want. This is kind of the cool thing. So we can make one line 100. But when you get this red highlighted symbol, it means it's not defined. So you got to go up here in your inputs and define it. And that's the only way it'll make sense. We could also change the name. So if we change the name, it's not matching 0 line. So we can't have two of the same inputs. And there we go. We got a 100 plotted line. Let's do -10. So now I can see if I want to plot the lines where maybe it gets a little bit crazy. Maybe at 10 something happens on my program, or 10 down here I get a signal. You can program signals in. I've done that as well. Super helpful. But I think this should give you enough information to get started. I think finding it, knowing about it is the hardest part. Once you know about it, it's good to get going, and it's not too overwhelming at that point. that's all I got. The only thing I want to go over is just wrap it up with how programs work. So you start out with a program with inputs, and you have to define them. So if I want to say fast length in my program anywhere, I have to say what fast length is before I use it in the program. So I can't say fast length minus something equals something else. I have to define it first. And once you define it, you can put it in your program. So we're defining things throughout this program, it looks like. Each time we do something, we define it. So that helps us save the value in. So plot diff is saving the value of value minus average. And the up signal and the down signal, they're saving those and they're plotting those points as we go. So if you type in plot, it does something different if you type in input. And obviously you can figure out what plot would do. And input is just saving the number. But we have a lot of things being plotted on this graph, so plot would change a lot of things if we took it out. So if I take that out, I get some errors because it's used later in the program. So we can't do that. But check it out, see what you can do, and the goal would be to make an indicator that works so great people would pay you for it. And people would pay you a lot of money for it if it works that well. So good luck. Hopefully this helps. Go get it.